Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Bootleg Racing League. From Myrtle Beach Speedway, it's Doubleheader Saturday on the Virtual Grip Network. First up, 7th round coverage of the Outlaw SK Modified Invitational Series Season 36. Tonight, the schedule moves into the second half. The back nine, July to December on the wall calendar to a championship. In both the late model series coming your way later tonight on VGN and this, the Outlaw SK Modified Series, one name sits atop the points, that being Todd Liston. While the dual points leads are impressive, neither lead is overwhelming. In the modified tonight, Liston leads old-time Donnie Moore by a mere 3 points. After winning the season opener, Liston has held his lead by turning in steady, solid performances that has birthed the word consistency. But if you're looking for raining fire and brimstone, the man striking fear into the competition, charging up through the points, don't look back lest you turn into a pillar of salt, is Sulphur and Fire Steven Spees. In the last 3 rounds at Slinger, Kern, and National, it's been Spees, and Spees, who now sits in third with a bullet, just 4 down from the top. If you thought that the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah was exciting, then pull the lever on the Lazy Boy, because you're going to love the excitement of the simulated short track racing action about to stream your way. A warm Palmetto State hello and welcome on this Saturday night, August 10th, 2024. It's Zach Shaggy Chapman back to join yours truly, Bill Soups on. Hi! The VGN broadcast. We are willing to have you. Replay Ryan Senator, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, Zach, we're at Myrtle, and that rhymes with turtle, and that starts with T, and that stands for trouble.
Yeah, and speaking of, right now I'm riding on board with Chris Hazlip here. He's entering 1 and 2, and you see those little bumps down there at the bottom. If you kiss one of those things, oh man, you are going to go for a ride. That's going to lift your car off. They are unlike no other pumps / tires that we see on any other track. If you hit the back of those things, you're going for a ride. But 13 degrees of banking through the corners, 8 on the back stretch, 7 on the front stretch. Going to be a lot of opportunities for passing, especially on the exit of 2. But this is going to be one of those tracks, Soup, where you're going to have to use that brake to turn the car a little bit. You got to save the front tires. It's going to be a long 100 laps.
Using the brakes to get the car to turn, something we don't talk much about here on the broadcast. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points right now. With no drivers making season debuts at Nashville, the number of drivers who have raced at least once this season holds at 25, with 11 having raced in each of the previous 6 events. All right, now Todd Liston has missed the podium for just once. He's missed the podium for just the second time this season, last time out. Let's talk a little bit about Donnie Moore. His 5th cut Liston's 4-point lead down to 3. Now, there's nobody hotter than Sulphur and Fire Steven Spees. Maybe the only way for him not to win if he doesn't show up, and that may be the case here tonight. As a quick scan of the entry grid so far, we do not see either Sulphur or Fire on the list. Double Deuce Bruce Pearson sits, he has a win, and he is yet to miss the top 10. Positions 5 through 8 are only separated by 5 points, but John Wilson, Kurt Smith, Chris Haslip, and Bobby Hayes are all too far back to really be in the championship conversation. And then the question is, who gets the prize gizzard at the Hilbert family Thanksgiving table? Man, it's going to be a split the giblet type thing with Steve and Tom both tied for 9th position. Glad you are here with us. Of course, tonight's broadcast made possible thanks to the generosity of the viewers. As always, we here on the VGN crew and all the local pizzerias around our neighborhoods, thank you for your support. Look at that beautiful South Carolina sky pushing down on the racetrack. Boy, it is a good day to go racing. Perfect day to go out to your simulated track, watch some simulated racing, have a simulated hot dog, and you know what? It's simulated. Go ahead and have a Coke. Don't worry about the Diet Coke, because you know what? The calories are simulated as well. Beautiful drone camera.
Speaking of going racing here, Soup, looks like we're gridding up. We're getting ready to go racing.
We are indeed. You know, the spectators really need to upgrade their automobiles. They all look kind of dated out there. I don't see anything current out there in the infield there. All right, let's go ahead and run through the starting order right now. Well, sitting on the pole, remember these are inverted from last week's performance. Top 15 are inverted, so Chris Haslip got the lucky 15th spot. He'll be on the pole. He's going to be inside of younger of the Hilbert brothers, Tom.
Inside of row number 2 is the 75 of John Wilson, into his outside in the 52 machine, Steve Hilbert.
Hilbert and Hilbert on the outsides of 1 and 2. Joe Segala, man who has 6 perfect 300 bowling games to his credit. He's going to be in 5th spot with the boss man, Lowell Jewell, in 6th.
Inside of row number 4 is the number 6 of Kurt Smith, and to his outside in the double deuce is Bruce Pearson.
Your points leader will be starting in 9th. He's going to be inside of the man who's chasing him, Donnie Moore.
Adam Shane rolls off P11 into his outside in the number 36, Jeffrey Harden.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, how about my former partner on this broadcast, John Hine? He's going to be inside of the man who loves to work his way through the field, Ruben Ortiz.
You know the deal. If you win last week, you start 15th the next week. Ricky Harden's going to start P15 into his outside in the 45, Jason Mendy.
Very fast. Scott Negus way back in 17th. Keep an eye on him. The Caveman, Trey Bloom in 18th.
Rounding out the field tonight, the number 74, Alan Wanamaker.
As always, behind the wheel of the pace car, the perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland. Look at those cars going underneath that camera right now. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful South Carolina day to go racing. Miss Kirkland pulls the pace car down into pit lane, turns control of the field over to our pole sitter. It is number 93, Chris Hazlett. And chug-a-lug makes you want to holler, hi-da-ho! And here he gets out to a nice lead. Hayslip gets to the inside. There is room for Tom Hilbert to pull down if he wants it. No such luck for his big brother, Steve, who is stuck to the outside of Wilson. Now there is room. Oh, no, says the boss man, as Lowell Jewell tries to get to the inside of Hilbert. They're also too wide with Bruce Pearson outside of the 81 of Joe Segala.
Yeah, I mean, Lowell Jewell, you see room, you got to go for it, but you got to be careful these opening laps. Tires are still cold. You're real vulnerable. You don't want to damage them early.
Top 5 settle down with Hayslip and Hilbert running 1-2. Hilbert having a hard time getting the car down to the inside lane, really tempting the Canadian Goose John Wilson to duck it down in there in a battle for second, but he does not. It's early racing so far. Lowell Jewell has worked his way up 2 spots into 4th. In 5th position, it's Steve Hilbert. Then there is the battle a little farther down. On the outside, it's the old-timer Donnie Moore working around the top. Joe Segala stuck on the inside, and it looks like the top side's going to roll.
Yeah, really hard to complete the pass if you can't float up to the wall, especially on the exit of 4. You really need to float up if you want to carry momentum. You can get away with it in 1 and 2 if you use that little bump in the center of the corner to rotate the car, but like I say, we're not going to see much passing coming out of 3 and 4 unless you're using the guy up on the high side.
Talk about Donnie Moore. Nobody has raced here more than Donnie Moore 19 times, and he has a pair of wins to go along with those 19 attempts. Starting to single file their way out right now. Let's look at the 81 of Segala. He really seems to be struggling. Just does not feel it right now. He's settling down. He's locked into 9th position, down 4 spots from where he started. He's got Kurt Smith back behind him looking for a way to get around.
And you got to think maybe, Soup, he was just getting pinched on the bottom. Probably didn't want to use the tires up. Didn't want to get the throttle too hard, center off. Just wrong place, wrong time. Knows this is a long race, and he's just going to save his stuff, make sure he's there at the end. A big battle for second here. Lowell Jewell moves up to P2.
Doing a good job of hanging on is Tom Hilbert now, but he drops down into 3rd spot. Lowell Jewell on the move. John Wilson now looking for a way around Hilbert. Early going so far, only lap number 8. Let's look at this 2-car battle again. This is Donnie Moore trying to get underneath Double Deuce Bruce Pearson. He does, and he brings along with it the pole of the points leader of Todd Liston.
And right behind him, Joe Segala in that 81. He wants to get a spot back, so he's going to try to tuck in line, but gotta be careful. You don't want to force the issue too early.
Man, I'm looking at the 6 of Kurt Smith. He's been on the bumper of Joe Segala right now. On him tighter than a scuba suit on a fat man is Kurt Smith on Joe Segala. Segala had to check up low down so he didn't get into the back of Double Deuce Bruce Pearson. Way up high behind those guys. That's the 79, the John Hine.
Well, the 52 of Steve Hilbert, he got in the wall going down the backstretch here, and now they're battling side by side. Didn't look too bad, but definitely slowed him down, and here comes Donnie Moore.
Let me correct myself. That was Adam Shane up top. John Hine was watching it. Kurt Smith finally getting underneath Segala in this battle, and there's another battle up front with Liston getting underneath the 52 of Steve Hilbert. So much action to keep an eye on. You're looking at Liston there. He gets Hilbert clear. Now let's go to the other one a little farther back. That one looks a little more competitive. That's Smith inside of Segala. And meanwhile, up in front, Bruce Pearson says, I'd like to get underneath Hilbert as well. And they get together. Pearson spins off. He comes back up into traffic, but he keeps it down. He avoids the pit lane entrance. Woo, Dougie. Do we have a yellow flag? Yes, we do.
And you can't give that man enough pats on the back for keeping that thing out of the inside wall and not going back up into traffic. Good job there, Bruce.
Oh, there was trouble everywhere. Watch Double Deuce Bruce right now. He gets into it with the Chief, Steve Hilbert. He tucks it back up, then he gets on the binders, keeps it out of traffic, which surprised me. I really thought that car was going to come right back up in front of everybody in the back half of the field. And he's ready to go racing. Go out there. Now you might want to think maybe you can come in, get some fresh tires. No, not in this series. You gotta dance with the girls who brung you. Finish on the same tires you start with. We talked about the beautiful South Carolina sky. I don't know if you can notice it on your TV screen there, but a cloud is passing over. Now they're racing in the shade. All right, why don't we take this opportunity to dial up our leader, Chris Haslett, up in front. Go ahead and talk with the Lipper. Make sure he has time here. We'll watch the pace car before we talk to the Lipper, and the lights stay on. All right, Chris, you started on the front. You're still up there. How's the car feeling?
Actually, Super's feeling really good. I'm trying to save my tires coming off the corners, trying to carry some speed in, but the Steelcraft SK Modified feels good. Feels good to be up here for a little while and try to put in some consistent laps and see how long I can stay here.
I know you really haven't seen much of the action because you've been up front, but we have seen the outside line work if you get pinned down. So keep an eye on that old crafty number 2 there, Lowell Jewell, on your outside on this restart.
Yeah, I'll just block him, send him into the wall.
There you go. That's what we like to do, especially for the series organizer. Good luck, man. We'll keep an eye on you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
The Lipper trying to bring it home. And everyone... Yeah, go ahead.
You gotta respect his honesty. I love that. Oh, inside wall!
But that's
no!
it! What has happened to the Lipper? Oh, my goodness. He's pulled off to the inside where he sits. Lowell Jewell now is so confused. Could it be he got confused with the buttons after the interview? We gave him plenty of time.
That's the ultimate commentator's curse.
I've never... Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than that. Well, that moves Tom Hilbert up into the pole position, and we get going. Christmas comes early to the Hilbert family. We were talking about Thanksgiving for them. Well, Tom Hilbert just inherits the lead. Well, let's see what Lowell Jewell can do now if he can pin young Tom down on the inside. That is Donnie Moore in the 26 looking for somewhere to go, but Lowell Jewell's giving him no room. Donnie Moore has visions of going 3 wide. Say it ain't so, Joe. No, Donnie says I'm smarter than that. Lowell Jewell trying to work the top. It is 2 by 2 by 2 up front. My goodness, Noah's Ark ramp.
Yeah, way too early, dude. I'm glad Donnie decided to put that idea back in the closet where it belonged. Don't go 3 wide just yet. Plenty of time here. You want to save your stuff. And, yeah, you know you got a hot rod. You're up 6 spots here from the start. You ain't even really pushed him yet.
Well, we thought it could happen.
Big wreck on the backstretch.
Oh, we got to... This about 3 wide. You just no room for 3 wide. And there's a lot of turtles here at Myrtle Beach. And if you're a turtle, you don't want to be on your lid. And that's exactly what happened to John Hine. Well, the question is, when there's 3 wide, first thing I want to ask is who made it 3 wide? We're going to back up and see. Oh, it looks like, well, the man on the inside, there he is. He's going to go down there. Shaggy, you don't have to be a brain surgeon or a rocket science to know that that usually doesn't work well.
No, I mean, I just Literally just got done complimenting Donnie Moore for putting it back in the
Back
closet.
in the closet, yeah.
John was the one who he pulled it out there, and I mean, different circumstances. John's stuck back in the field trying to work his way through. Donnie's already towards the front, but at the same time here, long way to go, and you really gotta trust the guys around you. And maybe John didn't know there was a guy up top. Maybe he thought he was getting crowded a little bit on the bottom, but 3 wide, just not enough room.
Well, let's dial up the number 1 of Joe Segala, see what he has to say about it. I will leave you an interview question on this one if we can. As we dial up Joe Segala's in pit lane. Joe, you started at 5th, you were dropping. What's your opinion of 3 wide here at Myrtle Beach?
Well, when it works, and when it doesn't, it clearly doesn't.
You were stuck in the middle. When did you know you were in trouble?
Well, as we were going into turn 1, I was trying to hold the bomb, and I don't know who it was that jumped down to the inside.
John Hines.
But yeah, he was down there, and I know I had someone on the outside of me, so I was just trying to hold it. And your spotter doesn't tell you what the distance is between you and the cars, around you. So I don't know how close I am to the guy on the outside. I don't know how close I am to the guy on the inside. And I think we all just kind of came together there.
Shaggy?
Sitting in the pits here, Joe, what's the game plan? Right now you're in 16th. Do you get out of the pits as quick as you can here, run for 15th? Are you racing for next week, or do we call it a night?
I got 8 minutes of repair. We'll see how many cautions come out between now and the time the car gets fixed, and if I can make up any positions. I may go back out there just for the heck of it. I mean, what else am I going to do for the next hour?
You got it. Well, good luck to you. We'll try to talk slowly here in the booth. Maybe that'll help you. You won't lose as many laps.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay. Well, let's turn our attention up front now. It has been an interesting race for the boss man, Lowell Jewell. He started in 6th, and then he had the man who was starting on the inside of him leave the race. We have not heard anything from Chris Hazlett. We got to figure out some type of mechanical issue. So now Lowell Jewell is sitting on the inside of row 1. He'll be in charge of this field. Tom Hilbert to the outside. Donnie Moore impatient, as is John Wilson behind those two. Perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland brings the pace car in. We're going to go green right now, working lap number 25.
Lowell Wilson.
1/4 of the way through, yeah.
Lowell with an amazing start and able to pull. John Wilson didn't have the best restart, but made up for it in 1 and 2. And well, here we see Tom Hilbert. He's stuck on the outside. Oh, a big wreck going into 4. Big wreck.
This one involves the other Hilbert, Steve, and I believe he got a little bit of racing line help from the 29 there of Scott Negus. Negus started way in the back, was trying to work his way through, and my gosh, the guys who got caught up in this one, Altice is in it, Pearson is in it. Also, Alan Wanamaker in the 74 is in it as well. And how about the Caveman? He got a little piece of the end. Maybe when we take a final look at this one, we'll watch it on board here when we get to it from the point of view of Trey Bloom. As he is last on the scene, and basically Trey's just looking for somewhere to park the car. Here we ride on with Bloom. He is so far back on this, Shaggy. These SK Modifieds don't slow down.
No, and they don't turn very well when they're slowing down, so you need them to move a little bit. You see that thing bites loose on him as he gets in the brakes. It's really tough. These guys, I mentioned earlier, using the brakes to help turn the car. A lot of these guys will dial in a bunch of rear brake, help turn the car. Well, when you come to a stop for an accident, that's the complete opposite of what you want. You want a whole bunch of front brake to keep that car straight when it locks up. And if you don't play it right and keep a little gas in it, that's what's going to happen to you.
I'm enjoying talking to the guys that get caught up in these things. He's just pulling out of the pits right now. Let's talk to the 32. That is Trey Bloom, the Canadian cancer researcher. Trey, it's Soup. You were so far in the back, you were trying to get a vote up. Let me let you concentrate as you pull it back out onto the track here. There was just nowhere for you to go.
Yeah, and I thought I missed him, but I don't know, I guess Steve was still down there. Yeah, I'm having a heck of a time. My computer's been struggling, and I was just trying to stay out of the way of everybody, but I still found trouble.
Shaggy?
Hey, Trey, I'm sorry that this isn't actually a question directed at you, but being in the Discord down there, Did we hear anything about what happened to Chris Hazlip coming to the green flag?
As far as I know, it sounds like just kind of disconnected or something. It kind of disappeared.
Okay, tough break.
All right, you're up, back out there. Good luck. Couple
All right, thank
laps
you.
down. You'll be all right, man.
All right, thank you.
Well, it's been a bit of a messy one.
Yeah, I think at this point, your Trey right now, you're the first car a lap down, so you're just hoping for the lucky dog. And you know, you may not have a lot of car left after getting in that, but I love the way this race league runs here, Sue. You can't ever quit. You're always racing for next week. So, I mean, with the invert, you've got to try to put yourself into a good spot. And if he gives up right now, he's got to pass everybody again next week. So you got to find a way to keep your head on straight and go back to work. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Indeed. Well, he's in 14th right now, one lap down. Who knows what could happen? John Hind, he certainly knows how these rules work. He's sitting 3 laps down in that 15th position. All right, let's see if we can get ourselves a nice green flag run here. You got the Canadian Goose, John Wilson, to the outside of the boss man, Lowell Jewell. Jewell is great on the start. Boy, the outside line does not go for the Canadian Goose. He was caught nesting, and that allows your points leader, Todd Liston, up from 9th position. Markham in the number 2 spot.
And, you know, Kurt Smith really paid for that. He got hung up on the outside, but he dropped to the bottom as soon as he could. And now Kurt Smith trying to go by. Able to complete it? Yes, he is.
Oh. There is a yellow flag brewing back here with Adam Shane on the inside of Tom Hilbert with a very, very pesky Ricky Harden in the number 3, trying to make his way up. He started in 15th position. He's just about cut that in half. If he can get to the inside of Hilbert, he'll have that done. Also back there, still fighting hard, Jeffrey Harden. Harden has a win here at Myrtle Beach in the late models. I'm sorry, in the modifieds. Not too many drivers do.
Todd Liston got in the wall coming out of 4 on the last lap, and that opened the door going into 1. So now he's stuck on the high side here, but he's not making it easy on the Canadian there, John Wilson. John's going to try to use him up a little bit in the middle of the corner, but hold on.
Look at the confidence that Liston has on Wilson to keep the car low. John, be careful. You get really low down there. There are all those snapping turtles. They'll take a bite out of you if you get down too low. Liston says, I want that second spot. He drives around the outside of Wilson. Wilson loses momentum, and old man Johnny Moore on the inside now, side by side with the Canadian Goose.
And, you know, John just got the blueprint laid on him, so he's got to do the same thing. He's got to pinch Donnie a little lower here. He's giving him too much room, as there you see they touch going into the corner.
I've learned from drivers who've been very successful that perhaps the top side's not the fastest way around when you're by yourself, but when you're side by side, it can work. And right now, Wilson is trying to work the top side on Kurt Smith. Smith's having a great run. He's only up in 5th position. My gosh, but he's been working hard. Smith dives it down deep and drifts up a little bit. Wilson gives him plenty of room. Great battle going on. This is a battle for what would be 4th position if you can get underneath Wilson. The front 3 are single file. All this going on behind Lowell Jewell, who's having it all his own way right now. But the real battle is back here for 4th. Now the advantage goes to Smith. But watch the momentum on the top side to the Canadian Goose. A flapping is the Goose, but I think on the outside line's not going to work. No way, he gets a good breeze, and now he's rolling around the top side. Great battle going on between Smith and Wilson.
And this is where it's just early on, so Smith is giving him a lot of room here, but as this progresses, he needs to make John feel a little uncomfortable here on the entry to turn 3. There we go. He drove it in deep. Now he's going to slide it up in front of him a little bit. That's exactly what you got to do. You can't keep fighting on the bottom. You can't kill your tires. You got to just say, hey, man, sorry, I'm faster than you. It's my turn.
With butter on his racing gloves, this is Adam Shane. We watched from the popcorn position. He got a great view as Kurt Smith now was able to finish off John Wilson. And Shane says, okay, I'd like to see if I can do it as well. The problem is when you're stuck on the inside and you're racing hard like this, lap after lap after lap, you're really burning up a lot of tires that are getting hot right now. Meanwhile, in front of them, Kurt Smith wants more. He's getting to the inside of Donnie Moore.
And Lowell wants these guys to keep fighting hard because Kurt is in a rocket right now. Easily able to get by Donnie Moore, and now he's going to set the fishing line on the front, too, and see if he can reel him in.
With that said, Todd Liston was in the wall just a few laps ago. He's lost all that momentum. He's got it back, and now he is hounding your leader, Lowell Jewell. What great race we're having right now.
And, you know, this is where about 10, 15 laps here into a green flag run where if you've been overdriving the car on entry and not using the brakes, like I said, your tires are really hot. You're going to lose that grip, and I think that's where we see Lowell sliding around here on exit. It's just maybe been overdriving on corner entry. He pulls away from the rest of the field, but, man, they chew him back up center off.
We were looking at the dark blue car. That is Adam Shane, and the car on the outside in the ASPCA Special, that's Donnie Moore. Shane is coming, as he always does. How many positions?
Shane in the wall.
I looked away to see his progress, and he got together with Moore. They both end up in the wall. I think Adam might have got the worst of it. Moore drives the 26 down into the South Carolina Alfalfa.
It's going to be a mandatory ambulance ride there, Soup. I think that's a big hit.
Nobody else caught up in it. Donnie Moore taking it down pit lane to try to get repairs. And we talk about repairs. Let's talk about this. It's not press a button, get a brand new car. Boy, you look at Donnie Moore. He's got a left front that is angled in horribly. Let's take a look at Donnie Moore's car real quick before it comes in pit lane and gets repair. You can take a look at that left front. And oh, you can't see from here, but it's really tilted in.
Yeah, Adam Shane in his cockpit view. You ought to take a look at that camera, man. Look at that thing flap up and down. Adam Shane, good night. His night's going to be over.
Well, we've talked to a lot of guys in pit lane. Last time I talked to the guy who was leading the thing, when the thing went green, his car didn't go, and that, of course, was Chris Hazlip. Let's go ahead and press our luck, see if we can talk to Lowell Jewell in the number 2. All right, Lowell. Last time I talked to the guy who was up front during a yellow flag, his car broke. I don't want to do it to you. Your restarts are really good.
Yeah, I cheated. I told John I was going on green and then went way early.
Yeah,
you ain't cheating if you ain't trying.
He was complaining about it, and you pulled me out of there.
Well, hey, Lowell, you know, right now, right before that caution came out, you started to feel some pressure there from Todd. What's the game plan here going forward? Is going to try to roll that middle line, just try to take both lines away, or are you just going to stick to what's working, stay on the bottom?
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it down there on the bottom. I slapped that outside wall earlier pretty hard, and it doesn't really feel right now.
Well, man, keep plugging away. You're the guy to beat right now. We know there's a long way to go, but good luck out there, Lowell.
Thank you.
Without Steven Spees being here today on a 3-way win streak, and I guess that win streak will continue. I'm not sure what really the policy is here at the BRL, but if you miss a race, if the streak continues, and it probably does, as the lights are about to go off the pace car. Donnie Moore is the man who is really chasing Todd Liston right now in points. So let's use some big picture explaining here. Todd Liston's second, but he's on the outside line. Donnie Moore just got into trouble. Is 2 laps down in 12th. So even though Liston not involved in that incident, it was good news for him. All right. Watch what the 2 of Lowell Jewell can do. He has been really good on the restarts all the way. Liston on the outside. He's got Kurt Smith, maybe the fastest car out there. And then the guy, good start again from Lowell Jewell. Smith trying to get underneath. And then the guy we have not really talked much about. Started in 15th, somehow has managed to miss all the chaos. The number 3, he'll be my partner here in the next hour for the late model event, Ricky Harden.
Yeah, he thought about sticking his nose in there on the high side coming out of 2, but smart man, thought best of it long time ago, didn't want pinched in the wall, but you're exactly right, Soup. That's stealthy 11 spots. That's scary. He hasn't used up his tires, and man, he's got a lot left in the tank.
We talk about being stealthy. We try to cover the action, and you know what? We see the guys who are working hard. We would have bet on Ricky if he was working hard, but somehow his passes, the positions that he picked up, didn't merit a lot of screen time. So he's done it the way, some nonsense going on in front. What's going to happen now?
Yeah, Lowell Jewell got in the outside wall, and it looked like Liston followed him. And big run there from Kurt Smith. Now Ricky Harden in the front stretch wall here, but we got a battle for the lead going into 1.
I did not realize that Myrtle Beach had moved the outside wall in so much since the last time we've been here. These guys are really finding it. All right, this will be interesting. We have seen the outside line work, but that is for guys who've been moving. We really don't know how fast Lowell Jewell is right now and how much he wants to try to pin the point leader down to the inside. And it looks like the momentum on the outside might keep Liston pinned down for at least 2 more corners.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Lowell has to do. It might not pay off for him right now, but gotta make him work on those tires. You can't just let a guy get a free pass when you're battling for the lead. You just can't do it.
He is not clear yet. Finally, I will do some spotting for the 87 clear. Come on up and get in his way. Let's see if Lowell Jewell does a little hucklebuck, a little dipsy-do, a little up and under. That's not going to happen. Meanwhile, there is a 2-car battle behind. Roll at the top side is Ricky Harden.
Yeah, Ricky Harden making that top side work, and maybe not because he wants to, but he's got to. Kurt Smith hugging the bottom in front of him, but Ricky is pestering him on the high side. Little mistake coming off the 2. He's going to lose that round.
It was very interesting back there, like a man looking for which bank teller to get behind. John Wilson was saying, "May, is the top side line going to work for Ricky? Is the low side going to work for Kurt Smith?" Well, Ricky had to bail out. Wilson had to back up a little bit, and now they are single file all the way back to number 74. Let's look at him. We have not talked much about Alan Wanamaker. We had 19 cars in the field. You know who started 19th? It was a 74 of Alan Wanamaker. He Wanamaker his way up through the grid right now as he's sitting back there in 8th position looking on Tom Hilbert for 7th.
Yeah, he's just floating up a little too high there in the middle of the corner, which means he's cranking a lot of wheel into the car, and all that wheel rotation, you're going to pay for that on lap 80, lap 90. So got to settle down. You got to get back into your rhythm here if you're Alan, and just pick them off one at a time.
The front train is 7 cars long. Liston, Jewell, Smith, Harden, Wilson, Harden, and Hilbert. When we talk about Hardens, we have Ricky Harden and Jeffrey Harden. Not related.
And right in front of them, we're just seeing Lowell struggle so much on the exit of 4. He's really floating up, and you got to think it's only a matter of time here before that 6 of Kurt Smith sinks his fangs into that number 2 machine.
Well, that's one of the beauties of the rule package here in the Bootleg Racing League. And honestly, I remember doing COVID, and NASCAR could not have qualifying in practice. They just kind of gridded them up by some order. Made the racing great because you never know who the fastest guys were always up front, and they had to work their way through the field. It made watching the racing really, really interesting, and that's kind of how these things work. How fast really is Lowell Jewell? He's racing in 2nd right now. How fast is Todd Liston? Well, he's up from 9th position. He is your point leader. You got to figure he's got a little piece going on. Right now, it is the number 3 of Ricky Harden who is really pestering Kurt Smith, who I thought was the car to watch, but maybe now it's not the 6, it's the 3.
Yeah, I mean, Lowell is just, he's driving, you see, he pulls away there in the entry, and they run him back down here coming off, and when a guy's overdriving entry like that, he's so hard to pass, because the time you're making up center off, you're saving your tires, but you're just not making up that distance, whereas Lowell, it's working for him right now, but, oh man, that thing's going to be a handful to drive these last 20 laps.
And now Harden, Ricky Harden, gets underneath Kurt Smith, and I'm going to blame that pass on Lowell Jewell, as Kurt Smith really was checked up. He really had nowhere to go. He's looking for any way to get around Ricky Harden, then see if he can do something with the 2, and maybe set his sights on the 87, who is not running away with this thing.
That's what I was just about to say, Soup. So you got to think he's either doing an excellent job of pacing himself, or he doesn't have a lot left either. So right now, Lowell Jewell is the 87's biggest friend here. Todd is rooting Lowell on.
We talked about keeping an eye on Ricky Harden. We also probably want to keep an eye on Jeffrey Harden, who is back there as well, racing very strong.
Donnie Moore, lap car there, did an excellent job of getting out of the way. Hats off to Donnie Moore getting out of the way of the leaders. But battle for 2nd here. Kurt Smith finally under Lowell Jewell going down the backstretch. Lowell's going to run it in hard into 3 and 4.
This might be a case of Cinderella having a curfew, as I think Lowell Jewell may have raced the treads off of that glass slipper. And now he drops into third position. That's going to allow Ricky Harden to come in there as well. The Canadian Goose, John Wilson, would like to go ahead and capitalize on that. And there is Jeffrey Harden, one of only the few drivers that has a win here in this car at Myrtle Beach. I don't know if I told you this. They've raced here 19 times. Or Donnie Moore.
Oh,
they get together.
Oh, no. Lowell
Wilson
gets into the
Smith.
back of, who was that, Kurt Smith? No caution yet, I don't believe.
Wilson tucked in his wings, put his beak down, and snuck the Goose through.
There it is.
Now the yellow. My goodness. And I believe that came, if we can get a chance on this one, I believe this is a case of the slow yellow. This is Tom Hilbert. Hours later, the 61 just drives up and there's cars rolling around. Let's see if we can look at the 61 here. Oh, perhaps I have it wrong there, but nevertheless, the yellow comes out. Hilbert does bring it down into pit lane. Well, let's go ahead and set the table. List Wilson, Jeffrey Harden, and Alan Wanamaker. You know, if there's anybody who really need to talk to, is the number 74 of Alan Wanamaker. Let's dial him up. I'll take the first question. Alan, we had 19 cars grid up for the race. You were the 19th car. You're now up into fourth. Have you been caught up in any of the incidents?
Yeah, I was caught up in the second incident. It wasn't too bad. Looks like my left front's bowed a little bit, but car's still manageable, so it's not too bad.
Looking at your left front right now, it is kind of turned out a little bit. Well, that'll help you get a little corner entry, perhaps. You're on the outside. You worried about that?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't been on the outside tonight. I've been on the inside, but I practice the outside in practice, so we'll see what happens.
Shaggy, you got one?
What is the key to that outside? Just entering in a little harder and pinching that guy down on entry and really affecting his exit speed, or what's your game plan here on the restart?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna try to give it as much as I can, and then probably get down low as soon as I can. I'm not really gonna try to, unless I get a good start, I'm not really gonna try to jump the guy in front of me, Jeffrey.
Well, you know, just a little warning. That guy behind you there, he was the one that got turned about a lap ago to start that all out. So be careful. He may be seeing a little red behind you. Good luck out there, Alan.
Yeah, all right, thanks. Yeah, I think he might have some van damage, though, so I don't know how his car is, but we'll see.
Look at the track awareness of Alan Wanamaker. Not only knows what's going on in his car, he also kind of has an idea of what's going on maybe in Kurt Smith's car. Hey, for those of you playing the VGN consumption game when soup takes more than one question, that's the second time tonight that I've done that. Hopefully, you've got yourself a nice non-alcoholic beverage.
I just got to mention.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm so happy that he worked in Rob Van Dam into having damage somehow with the van damage. That was amazing, and hats off, Alan.
I love these guys. If you want to get to know the drivers, you want to catch the podcast, which is called, my director will tell me, VGN Weekly. And you know how often it comes on? Every week. Hosted by my partner, John Hine. All right, we're going green. Working lap number 76. Your point leader, Todd Liston, out in front. The outside line did not work for the Canadian Goose, and that allows Jeffrey Harden to get the number 36 up into second. He's been very quiet, working his way all the way up from 12th position. His wife, Brandy, cheering on from the other room as he races in the dedicated racing room that they have there in their luxurious home here in Southern California. Right now, he's got it all worked out. Harden with the drink in his hand, one hand in the steering wheel as he tries to run down Todd Liston.
And, you know, we've talked about it before, Soup. He doesn't want to get too comfortable in second here. If these guys wreck behind him, he starts on the outside in the next restart. That's not what you want. So you got to go to work here if you're Jeffrey Harden. You don't have time to waste.
We call them the even and odd fairies. Jeffrey Harden right now sitting in second. Same problem for Alan Wanamaker in fourth. And then you got to wonder if Bruce Pearson in the double deuce. You think the double deuce would be happy on an even position, but nope, he's sitting there in sixth as well. The guys in 2, 4, and 6 would like to get to the odd numbers if possible. And a guy who is thinking about doing that right now is Kurt Smith. Well, Smith is in fifth. He would like to get around, if he could, up and around Alan Wanamaker. Smith dives it down deep, gets a tight exit off of 4, takes it in really deep into corner number 1, and he's going to finish off the 74. That moves Smith up into that dreaded 4th position. I guess he's glad to have the position, but he'd like to get one more if he could.
Yeah, no, and if you're that 74, you did the smartest thing. You're up 14 spots right now. Why fight with Kurt Smith, who you know is fast? Just let him go by, fall in line, and live to race another day. Smart move.
Let's talk fast. Number 36, Jeffrey Harden. He's one of the few drivers to have a win in the SK Modifieds here in the many, many times that this series has come to Myrtle Beach. You would like to see what he can do to the points leader. Jeffrey Harden is trophy hunting. He's too far down in the points to really be a legitimate threat for the championship. That is not the case for your points leader, Todd Listen. John Wilson is close enough to be able to think about points. Kurt Smith as well.
Right now, with all the couple accidents there we had early, the guys have really settled down. You can see not a lot of tires left. They're all kind of running single file here. You almost need the guy in front of you to make a little hiccup, getting that outside wall, let you get a run on him. It's going to be hard to complete a pass by yourself here with the rubber they have left.
We are in South Carolina, and South Carolina is a state that is known for some of its bizarre laws that they have out there. For instance, you cannot ride your bicycle on a Wednesday night when there's a full moon, and also it's forbidden to have boogie time on lap 80. I don't know why that is. That here they have to have it on lap number 90, so we'll get you boogie time in a minute. That's probably just what Jeffrey Hart needed, because he was thinking that it's not really time to boogie until 10 to go. So we're coming around here on lap number 91. You'll have time, folks, to lace up your disco shoes. So we look at Kurt Smith now, working, trying to get.
Yeah, Lowell Jewell working
Joel.
on the double deuce Bruce Pearson here, and I'm surprised to see. Well, there Lowell actually backs it off there. That was kind of weird. Not sure why Lowell did that. It seemed like he was about to make the pass there.
Raced up front for many a laps, did Lowell Jewell. In fact, he led for 36 of them. Maybe it's getting close to racing on the rims for the number 2.
And Alan Wanamaker now, he's looking to maybe get back around Kurt Smith here. He's saved a little bit for when it mattered here. We got 14 to go, so if you got it, got to use it.
There has been a lot of hyperbole about Todd Liston. The intro talked about it. He comes into tonight leading not only in this series, but also in the late model series that we're going to bring to you in just a little while. A win would do wonders for his confidence, as he's getting a lot of criticism for not really dominating the both series, but my goodness, what more do you want to do than be your points leader? Coming out of here, working lap number 90 as he comes across the line right now.
That's where, if you're Jeffrey Harden, you got to use that to your advantage. Go up there, pressure him, Soup. He wants to lead the points. You're going for trophies. Go up there, race hard.
All right, well, we like to abide by all the rules here in South Carolina, so indeed, it is, you know what time it is? It's boogie time, 10 to go. If you think about winning, start that mirror spinning. Grip the groove, make your move. Under the shade of the palmetto tree, boogie time. Look at that, boy, that is perfectly timed for one lap around Myrtle Beach. The production quality here on VGN is outstanding. Getting out of the way is full-time Donnie Moore. Lets him go around. Donnie Moore not having the race he wanted in 15th position right now. Chris Hazlip looks like he's going to get that one secured. Ricky Harden is in 16th spot. He's out there racing. Ricky could possibly be on the pole next time around. He's still trying to put down the laps. Todd Liston picking him up and putting him down. Talk about laps as he's opened up the gap on Jeffrey Harden.
Now, Liston flirting with that outside ball field coming out of 4. He's really not leaving anything in the tank here, but You got to run it hard if you want to win in this series. You know, best of the best. They're great at saving tires, so you got to know when to push. You got to know when to save, and it looks like Liston hit the nail right on the head here tonight.
Little two-car battle going on a little farther in the field there. There's Lowell Jewell. It's double deuce against a single deuce. Jewell gets the best of that. Ricky Harden back in second. Got to give a shout-out to my fellow Californian who sent me a text. We had an earthquake out here in California a couple days ago, and he said, "Soup, how's it shaking?" I said, "I'm fine, baby. How's it shaking for you?" "It's good." Harden now getting underneath Tom Hilbert, does a good job of getting out of the way. Apparently, Liston's wife, Brandy, not a fan of the earthquake. What I like to do when the earthquake comes on, I put on the boogie music. Do a little boogieing during the quake. Rolling out of corner number 4. He has one win already this season. Picking up a second win for Todd Liston would be not only help him in the points, but also quiet some of the critics who are saying he is an undeserving points leader. I frown on that kind of pessimistic attitude from some of the people, but you know, that's how social media is. Working lap number 99 in the beautiful 87, sunset over sea. 87 out there. Coming out of 4 corners to go here in South Carolina.
Final time around, Todd Liston guides it into 1 and 2, and no looking back now, Soup. Going down that backstretch, you got to make sure you hit your marks final time through 3 and 4.
Only if Godzilla were to attack right now would keep Liston away from his second win of the season. Round number 7 goes to Todd Liston. Jeffrey Harden, a hard-fought second position with the Canadian Goose John Wilson, starting in 3rd. Finishing right there as well. The racing is over, but you know this long enough that our broadcast is not. We're going to take a very short break. We'll come back and run down the entire finishing order of all 19 drivers before we do interviews, and then take a short break before we get to the late models a little bit later. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Don't go far.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Myrtle Beach Speedway and VGN's 7th round coverage of the 36th edition of the Bootleg Racing League's Outlaw SK Modified Invitational. You know, people are so bitter. There's so many naysayers out there saying that Todd Liston's point lead is all done with smoke and mirrors. Well, let me tell you something. Blow away the smoke and shatter that mirror, because Your points leader just put an exclamation point on his dominance with a win here tonight, his second of the season, going from 9th to 1st. Jeffrey Harden made a great run through the field, but Brandy, he just couldn't get there. He'll have to settle for second. No dessert tonight for him. John Wilson started in 3rd. That's where he'll finish up. Kurt Smith was really fast, but just the cards didn't play out right for the number 6. He'll have to settle for 4th. Here's a guy, started in last position. We got to talk to him. There was no commentator's curse. Alan Wanamaker, 19th to 5th. Congratulations on that one. Lowell Jewell raced up front for so many laps. Have to settle for 6th. Double Deuce Bruce Pearson behind him in 7th. 2 more cars on the lead lap, and that's where I'm going to stop. Steve Hilbert in 8th, and Trey Bloom, the caveman, in 9th. Okay, going to turn 10th over. All these cars are lapped down to Shaggy.
And, you just mentioned Steve Hilbert, so he's going to walk out of here with the Hilbert points lead. Tom Hilbert's going to come home P10. Donnie Moore, 11th. John Hine, the professor's going to come home P12 after the early incident. Jason Menda, 13th. Joe Segala, 14th. Chris Hazlip started on the pole tonight, and, well, looks like he'll be back there again next Saturday as he finished 15th. Ricky Harden with the dreaded 16th spot. Adam Shane, 17th. Scott Negus, 18th. And rounding out the field tonight, the 70 of Ruben Altis.
Negan and Altice really did the show what they were made of. Both those drivers are quality drivers, but they finish way down the order. Hopefully they'll do better next time we see them. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and dial up our points leader, our race winner, and of course we're talking about the man behind the number 87. That is Todd Liston. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong. You put it in the wall at least once, right?
Yeah, there was definitely that one mistake. I put it in the wall. I knew it was probably going to happen sooner or later, and I'm glad it happened sooner rather than...
It cost you a lot of momentum. I thought, oh, maybe he's done, but it wasn't long before you ran him down, and then you were able to get the pass made and then hold him off in the end.
Yep, it was definitely exciting race there at the end. I think Jeffrey was faster than me coming off that restart, and I'm not sure if I was just able to hold things steady and keep my heat and my tires managed or what ended up helping me there. I think he definitely had momentum on me at first, and then once I started seeing that 2 turn into 0.3 and 0.4, I was like, oh, I've got a little room to maneuver.
Got it. You started in 9th. You worked your way up pretty quickly. Were you ahead of all the nonsense that was early on, or did you have some of that in front of you?
Well, I got pretty lucky. It all seemed to happen right behind me after I got up there. So luck was in my favor on that end tonight.
All right, well, congratulations. Second win of the season. Open up your points lead a little bit. You got a lot of guys chasing you. No room for mistakes. You're close. Good luck.
Thank you.
Todd Liston, points leader, race winner tonight. Okay, I believe my partner has ran down Jeffrey Harden. Maybe if this was a 150-mile lap race, maybe Jeffrey might have had something for him. Shaggy, what do you got?
Yeah, hey, Jeff, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, Shaggy?
Hey, man, you seem to be able to get through the mess here tonight, and at the end, you slowly started to run down Todd. Just talk to us. I mean, was it just that hard to pass here at the end with not having a lot of rubber left on the tires?
Yeah, I mean, I could get to Todd, but there's no drive to get underneath him. I mean, at the end, it was just, I was just trying to hold on to second, not make any mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about on the broadcast at that point. You just got to hope the guy in front of you makes a mistake. And, speaking of mistakes, had a lot of them in front of you. What was that like trying to weave your way through those accidents there about halfway, Jeff?
Oh, man, there was a lot of moments. I felt bad. I got into Scott. I didn't have enough time to hit the brakes, so I tried to just swerve wide. And I guess he went wide, too, and I caught him and took him around. And but, man, I felt like I was dodging cars all night.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen when you got guys checking up in front of you. Not everybody can get into it. Nothing to feel guilty about. Product of short track racing here. And, Jeff, you did an amazing job tonight. Brought home that middle step of the podium, my man. Who you want to thank?
Like always, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Brandy. I'd like to thank everybody out there, my friends and family watching. You guys up in the booth. The guys out there in the league, racing great. And Lowell for putting everything on.
Great job, Jeff. But you know the deal now. You got to start 14th next week. So good luck, man. 13 guys.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty used to coming to the back. Racing part-time every now and then. You get used to it.
Hey, Jeffrey, it's Soup. All the all the vases still on the shelves after your little shaker out there?
Oh yeah, nothing fell off. It's kind of crazy. My wife kind of lost it, had an oh no moment, but other than that.
Well, I'm glad everything's okay. Good luck to you down the road.
All right, thanks, Sue.
All right, Jeffrey Harden, fellow Californian and earthquake survivor. With that said, let's dial up a man. There are no earthquakes in Canada because they're too kind up there to have to worry about such things. The Canadian Goose, John Wilson, finished third. John, you finished ahead of everybody that you're trying to race in the points, except for that Todd Liston.
Yeah, that Todd guy, he's too fast in these cars, I think. Maybe we'll have to pull him into the garage.
It was fun. You started in third. You raced up front most of the way. All of the chaos behind you, right? Because you got a nice starting position.
Yeah, there was, I think I was running fifth or something, and there was a big one in front of me that I missed.
We did see that one, yeah. You were the only one who got through that.
Yeah, and I wondered why the caution didn't come out immediately, because I think one car went over my roof. But yeah, I was just happy to hang on to a top three.
Let's talk about Canada right now. I've managed to make it through the entire 2 weeks without watching any Olympics. How's Canada doing Olympics-wise? Are you guys happy?
I honestly don't know.
Good, I'm with you. All right, cool. You know what? Well, congratulations. You know, if it was the Winter Olympics, you guys would do better because I know you guys are awesome in like that thing where you push the rocks and the broom. I don't know what that is, but you guys are usually pretty good with that thing. Have you ever done any of that? Have you with that curling thing? You ever grow up doing that in Canada?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, well then you're going to find some other Canadian to talk to. Maybe he has some Canadian culture we can learn from. Hey, Goose, congratulations, man. Good luck down the road.
Hey, thank you, sir.
All right, who else is Canadian? Can we put the standings up? Let me see if there's a maple leaf flag anywhere there. Oh, Negus. All right, he's gone. Well, that's my next guy. Scott Negus, if you've done any curling, make sure you study up on it because I'm going to do an interview next week about that. I want to know all about it. Hey, clearly this broadcast is going off the rails. Let's close this thing up. Bring up when we're going to be back. It's going to be in just a little while. I got to get out of here because I still have the right to do some point study and stuff. We'll be back in just a few minutes, and then the week after that, we're going to be going to New Smyrna Speedway. That's going to be in a week. And then don't forget, we're going to be off for Labor Day. But I hear that VGN this week is going to have a great guest on that Labor Day, so you don't want to miss that one. With that said, I'm not going to go to the closet and get your hat because you're going to be back in a few minutes. I'm just going to give you a fist bump, say, don't go far. We'll see you in a little while for the second part of our doubleheader. You're watching VGN.